890 or 4892.
Meron? Ano nga ba ang meron? Paano nga bang mabuhay ng tapat sa meron? Don't you wish you can relive your philo classes? The terror teachers? The terrible oral exams? Or the even terrifying but liberating and life-changing aha moments? Lundagin mo, baby! Here's your chance! Lundagin mo, baby! Kasama ang mga pilosopong sina Jovi Miroy at Ron Capinding. Lundagin mo, baby! Leaping upward, leaping forward. Lundagin mo, baby! Leaping to greater heights, to greater wisdom, to greater magis. Lundag na, Ateneo!
Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Voice of the Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atenista sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod. Todo sa kayod, punong at tulong. Lipad na Blue Eagle, galing giting at tigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan.
Coming up next, Nagtatanong lang on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atenista sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod. Todo sa kayod, dunong at tulong. Lipad na Blue Eagle, galing giting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan.
Bakit ang mahal ng bilihin?
Kailangan ba
Bakit
talagang
laging
di ba
traffic
may
ka?
freedom of
Kahit
speech?
saan?
Marami tayong mga tanong.
Ba tayo laban sa
Bakit
fake
ganito?
news? Ba makaiwas
Bakit
sa
ganyan?
pag-asa pa bang
Mga tanong tungkol sa bayan at sa buhay.
Ano nga ba ang gawang kabataan?
May solusyon nga ba? Sino ang may
Para
sagot?
kanino ba talaga ang gobyerno?
At sino ang magtatanong? Huwag mag-alala! We got you! Dahil dito, bawal ang dead air. Sa Nagtatanong lang. Kasama si JR Santiago, isang guro, public speaker at dating public servant na walang takot na magtatanong para sa mga sagot na dapat nating malaman sa tulong ng ating mga eksperto, lider at tayong mga mamamayan. Kasagutang para sa atin at para sa bayan. Nagtatanong lang, ang bago mong public service program dito sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Tuwing Huwebes ng gabi, makiosyoso, makidiskurso at makialam. Dahil ang tamang tanong may swak na solusyon. Nagtatanong lang.
Okay, good evening po. Magandang gabi sa inyo lahat. Ako po si JR Santiago and welcome to our pilot episode of Nagtatanong Lang. A new show here at Radyo Katipunan, so we're very thankful for Radyo Katipunan for this opportunity. And this show, this show is where we will ask o magtatanong tayo ng mga mahalagang tanong tungkol sa iba't ibang issue at sa pagtatanong natin, sana makakuha tayo ng mga sagot mula sa ating mga panauhin, ating mga special guest. At sana samahan nyo rin kami sa pagtatanong at sama-sama na tayong humanap ng mga sagot sa mga nagbabagang issue ngayon. Kasi dito naniniwala kami na kapag may tamang tanong, may tamang solusyon. Okay, so simulan natin ang mga pagtatanong, lalo na sa topic natin tonight. Very relevant. And again, welcome din pala to those who are listening to Radyo Katipunan through Facebook, and of course, we have studio audience today. Welcome. So simulan na natin ang pagtatanong. Sa mga nakikinig, gusto kong malaman, nagko-commute ba kayo? Or nagda-drive, nagmamaneho tulad ko, na galing lang sa 3 hours of traffic today? Nagbabike ba kayo? O paano ba kayo nakakapunta sa trabaho? O kung saan mo man gusto pumunta sa Metro Manila. Kumusta naman na experience nyo? Using all those different, may nagbubus ba dito, nagte-train? At alam ko kagaya ng milyong-milyong mga residente ng Metro Manila, iba-iba ang pinagdadaanan natin, pero alam ko na may para-pareho tayong kinakaharap araw-araw. Ang tila bang walang katapusang problema sa traffic. At ngayon magtatanong tayo mula sa ating mga special guest today, kung paano nga ba masosolusyonan. So, in this show, we will discuss and answer questions and find solutions. And now, the traffic is, of course, Metro Manila traffic. I'm very excited. Nakausapin na yung mga special guest. So, let me introduce the guests. So first, from MMDA, we have Mr. Gabriel, who's head of the MMDA Special Operations Group. And then we have Marge Dungo, who's here to represent commuters. I'm very excited to hear your story. And then, of course, we also have Mr. Gepuella, who is representing AltMobilityPH. It's a group that advocates for alternative ways of transportation. And again, I'm also excited to hear the solutions they can provide. Before we ask the questions, I think we want to show a video. Kasi I also teach here in Ateneo, and I teach communications for development. And I asked my students to come up with a video to find solutions to certain problems. And one group actually picked traffic. But they did it very creatively, kasi natuwa ako kasi ang ginawa nila, imbes na magsalita lang tungkol sa issue and then provide solutions. What they did was, they challenged themselves. So parang nag-challenge sila. So, gusto nilang makarating sa Makati-Ayala Triangle from Ateneo using different kinds of transportation. So may nag-bike, may nag-bus, may nag-drive, may nag-train. And magugulat kayo kung sino yung nanalo. Kasi meron tayong expectations, di ba? Pero, sige, let's watch the video so we'll get to see.
So, hi everyone! Welcome back to Chica Mobilista. And today we'll be doing a special episode. We'll be doing the Great Transpo Race. So what's the Great Transpo Race? The idea is that we'll be going from ADMO to Makati, specifically Ayala Triangle Gardens, through 4 different modes of transport. Bike, car, train, and bus. So we'll be introducing our players for today.
race, but it's not all about speed.
That's right. We're judging the winner according to practicality, affordability, and let's face it, how much energy you've got left at the finish line. So, who comes out on top? Buckle up, hold on tight, and let's find out. Yeah. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! My car. I turned it off. Yay! Okay.
It's 4:20 and I'm still walking.
I'm at the Footprint National Bookstore. I'll be waiting for 5 minutes.
So, just to explain my current route, I plan to pass to route 3.5. And by going to the route 3.5, I plan to get a trike to get to the LRT station. There are trikes available to go to the LRT station, so this is good. LRT po kuya.
Okay, so it's 4:42 right now and I'm at the EDSA service room.
more than words. Deep in the night, the fight lasts for hours. You could be hurt or you could be her.
Meanwhile,
Okay, so we're already at Ortigas. As you can see in the background, that is SM. Well, estimated time of our arrival based on Waze is 5:24. So 31 minutes left.
Alright, here we are. We're at the MRT. We got lucky and we were able to sit down.
Time check, 5:09. I've been biking for around 55 minutes almost. I don't know where I'm going, so kaya stop muna ako here. 5 minutes away, my motorcycle. I'm gonna turn left at Paseo to Rojas City.
Time check, it's around 5:16. Alright, so here we are at Ayala. We're officially at Makati.
It's 5:23 and I have to walk to the station.
God, we made it! I just have to find parking, but we're already here, see? Hopefully I can get parking.
Okay, so we've run into an issue. So Ayala Triangle Gardens is over there. But as you can see, there's no way to go across.
I'm here. My first.
So I got out of the pedestrian crossing and I'm on the wrong side still.
Time check, it's 5:23. I just arrived here sa Ayala Triangle Gardens. Our meeting point is the Arc. It's 5:23, so it took me about an hour, a little over an hour to get here. Not bad, actually. Mabilis na rin. I wonder if I'm the first. I'm not sure. I don't see anyone else yet. Update, I was first to arrive.
Okay, so if I'm correct, this should be the pedestrian crossing to the other side, and that'll be very, very helpful.
Okay, so I already made it, but the parking is the problem. So yeah, I'm just stuck here for now. Anyway.
Jom says that he sees me, but I literally just don't know where he is. I'm blind.
39, the bus just left. That's my mind.
Here we have the second to arrive.
Yo!
Let's go, second to arrive.
Woo!
Okay, I finally found parking. Oh my god. 6:16. Okay, I'm on the way to Ayala Triangle right now, but my god, that took way too long than it should be. But anyways, goodbye.
On the way there, but going here now.
Oh my god. It's 6:24 and I'm walking to Ayala Triangle Gardens. It took me 2 hours.
At long last, I made it. Ah, it never looked so beautiful, but I did it. Yippee! Oh my god.
There's Jay. Jay! Jay! Yay! How long were you looking for parking?
I was already here 5:26.
Yeah!
6:33.
Wait, that's actually an hour of parking.
And we're at a house. That's the way. 6:30. Let's go. It's 6:41 and I just arrived. Let's check. How it is.
Gio! 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 Yeah! How was it?
What? 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Time check, it's 6:44 right now.
Wow!
2 hours and 29 minutes.
Wow!
So, ayan, no? Every time I watch that video, tuwang-tuwa ako kasi I think my students were able to show what everyone goes through every day. And then I think that can set the background and the context of our discussion today. But before we ask the questions, of course, I want to give our guests a chance to say good evening to our listeners. So siguro let's start with Gab. Say good evening to our guests.
Good evening, everyone, no? Especially Sir JR. It's an honor to be here to be part of this program, to shed some light and whatever that we need to tackle. I hope we can learn a thing and two from this.
And we're so happy that you're here. Marge?
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure also to be here and to have the perspective naman ng mga commuter natin.
Thank you. Thank you for coming as well. Then Lou, of course.
Hello po to everyone. Good evening, especially to commuters and pedestrians. We need more civic spaces like this, just so that we have a dialogue that is continuing so that we can find solutions to all our problems.
Ayun, meron na kaagad solution. Okay. Sige. So, given the name of the show is Nagtatanong lang, so let's begin with the questions. No? So, first round siguro is we'll ask the same questions for everyone, and then later we can go specific per guest. Okay, number one question. In one word, paki-describe ang Metro Manila traffic and explain briefly why you think that word is appropriate. I would like to start. Lou, can we start with you?
Okay, one word that I think will best describe Metro Manila traffic, shambolic.
Why do you think so?
Because we keep on adding and adding and adding to the volume and we're not really doing anything to help stop it. So just like a water bottle, for example, or balde, you keep pouring water on it, aapaw din yan balang araw.
Okay, thank you for that. Marge?
Sa akin, the first word kasi dugyot.
Okay. That's an interesting word, dugyot, okay?
As a commuter.
Okay.
Andun na lahat. Yung pawis, yung tagal, yung walang access sa different locations. So, yun yung sa akin.
I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. Ako as a car driver, napapagod na ako sa pag-drive. Paano pa yung nag-commute, diba? So, thank you for that perspective. And of course, Gab, as someone who's an agency who's supposed to help solve, I would love to hear the word you would use.
Kaya kinabahan ako dahil yung mic ko iba eh. Subukang hot seat ako dito. But no, kidding aside, I would describe it as, in one word, development. Why development? Because development can be good, it can be bad. So I would say, yung development ng transportation system, the development of our urban planning, our transport system, the roads and everything, it matters a lot when it comes to addressing the problem sa mga kalsada natin. So I would say development would be for us, best describes the current situation.
Oh, that's a really nice perspective. No? In looking at it, it's really, I guess, the job of government to catch up.
Yes, that
with
is
that
correct.
development. So I'm very interested also to find out what you guys are doing to catch up to that development. Ako siguro I'll try to answer the question as well. Again, I mentioned ko kanina, I came from 3 hours of driving. Siguro one word I would use is frustrating, right? Because you really want to get somewhere, but it's just so hard to get to places now. And I also relate to what Lou said, kasi there's so many cars talaga. And it's so easy to buy cars.
Correct.
Diba? Ang daming offers na 0 down payment, no? Parang motor, it's so easy to buy. So, okay, so thank you for the answer. The first question pa lang yan. Marami pang parating. Ito, let's go a bit deeper on why you think, why you think traffic is that way. So, what do you think are the primary causes? Ano ba yung mga dahilan kung bakit ganito yung traffic situation? Specifically in Metro Manila. Marge, let's start with you.
Siguro isang naisip ko kasi is kulang sa disiplina. Siyempre, nagmumula yun sa nagpapatupad ng disiplina. Saka dun sa mga gumagawa, mga mamamayan tayo. So, yun, isa yun sa mga naisip ko. Kasi sa ibang bansa, meron naman sila yung parang oras ng bus, sinusunod talaga. Tapos, kung maiwan ka, maiwan ka. Yan. So, isa yun, yung na-highlight sa akin siguro. Both ways. Yan. Doon sa nagpapatupad, saka dun sa mga mamamayan. Disiplina.
I think that's very relevant. No? Thank you for that answer. If I may say, last week I was just in Singapore. Everything works there. No? Saka lahat sumusunod. No? And I'm guilty sometimes here in the Philippines. No? I do a bit of jaywalking sometimes. Huwag niyo po akong hulihin. But I guess, tama no, disiplina. Kasi if you can do it in other countries, tayo mga Pilipino, sumusunod tayo doon. Bakit dito hindi? So very good insight. Thank you for that. How about you, Lou? What do you think is the cause of the traffic situation that we have now?
I like what Marge said about disciplina, which is very valid. Pero before we go into actual enforcement, we also have to look at systems, structures, and design. Because design will always influence behavior. And if you have ugly, useless, unthinking design, and you want people to actually follow for no logical reason, you have a problem there.
Wow. I can also relate to that answer because I used to work in government as well. And when a new administration comes in, magbabago lahat. Diba? So I think one thing that we are lacking as a nation is yung continuity. Diba? Parang I haven't heard a leader say, I have this 25-year plan to fix traffic. It's all my admin and that's it. Tapos ang naging problema, patsi-patsi. Diba? So parang ito batas ni President ganyan, ito. So, tas nalilito na tayo, tas patong-patong. Okay? Having said that, now we can segue to someone in government. I know the challenge, I know the frustration. So, in your analysis, what do you think is the root cause?
Well, we cannot put the root cause into a single word or even just a single description. I have to agree with both our guests here. One, discipline. Tama yan eh. As you said, Sir JR, no? When we are in other countries, we can follow the rules and regulations. Why not in our own country? So that's one already eh. Two, consideration. Hindi lang consideration pag nahuhuli but consideration sa mga kasama natin sa kalsada. If we tend to be more considerate of the people who are using the roads with us, I think we can lessen the problem of, for one, illegal parking, which is one of the root cause also of traffic congestion. So next, being sensitive of the people or being sensitive of our surroundings. As I said, one of the causes are obstructions. People tend to walk on the street or on the road instead of the sidewalk because of obstructions. Obstructions, meron tayong extension ng mga sala, extension ng mga tindahan. So, nawawalan ng tamang mobility or passage for the pedestrian, and at the same time, we are hampering the flow of traffic. So, there's a lot of spectrum to it. There's a big spectrum in thinking about the root cause of everything here. It's not just about traffic congestion. We also have to think and tackle, which I have to agree with Sir Lou, yung development of our infrastructures. Our transportation infrastructures, sad to say, we are behind. Diba? As we can see nga dun sa video pa lang, 4 kinds or 5 kinds of transportation system, both took up 2 hours of our time. Imagine that. And it's just a single 12-kilometer road or 12-kilometer route, which we can do it or we can travel in less than an hour. So, the lack of, I'm not saying wala tayong development, but tama rin kayo, yung continuity and consistency. So, there's a big spectrum to it na dapat isa-isahin natin ito so that we can go down to the bottom line of how we can come up with a solution that is concrete, evident, and also sustainable.
Yeah. Very valid perspectives. No? Mabalik lang ako dun sa video. No? I didn't expect na yung bike yung mananalo. Being a car driver myself, I would think yung car, although maaga siya nakarating, 1 hour for parking. Right? And I think you raise valid points on it's not just one, but it's a myriad, and it has become a wicked problem. Na ang daming kailangan mangyari at the same time to solve it. Like me, from my perspective on this is, I think as Filipinos, we really grew up being car-centric. Diba? Parang the ultimate dream is to have a car, to drive to work comfortably, right? Tapos ngayon, ang daling kumuha ng kotse. So everyone, and then even if you build more roads, more flyovers, more cars pa yung darating. Yeah, so thank you for that, for those answers. We're learning a lot from your perspectives. Okay, next naman, let's go discuss about public transportation. As we have discussed, like countries like Singapore and other countries, they have a very solid public transportation. So, like for you, what do you think the role should be of public transportation in solving Metro Manila traffic? Start with Lou, maybe.
I think we'll first have to go back and look at the perspective, public transportation ba, should it be for profit or should it be considered a public service? Kasi if you want it for profit, of course, mamahal yung bayad for the card and whatnot. Pero at the same time, it will in a way pay for itself. We understand the economic perspective. But if you look at it as a public service, one good example right now, the QC free bus. That's a public service. Now, if you look at the way it benefits the community compared to, say, the economic impact, that's something else we should start looking at. Instead of just saying that it should pay for itself or dapat profit-oriented yan. So let's look at that first. We have to ask our leaders, our duty bearers, what do they look at public transport? Is it a public service or is it for profit? And then we start from there.
Very good point. In other countries, diba, it's the government running it, not private companies. No? And they consider it a public service rather than a product to be sold. Very good. Marge, ikaw yung huli ko kasi ikaw gumagamit ng public transportation. But yeah, what do you think should be the role of public transportation in solving?
I have to agree. We have to set the rules. We have to set the lines. If it is just for profit or public service. But on our perspective, personally of someone who is day-to-day na nasa kalsada ako, battling illegal parking, obstruction, problem of traffic. That's why it's called public transportation. It should be public service. But then again, we also have to look into the economic perspective of the country as a whole. In other countries, it's very progressive. The government is capable enough to sustain na yung transportation is being, or the public transportation is being run by the government itself. But here in the Philippines or in our country, we could go into the PPPP, actually, the public-private partnership. But we have to focus on providing service and not just for profit. We have to develop our public means of transportation, provide ease of access, for example, for bus stops, loading and unloading zones, and other means of transport for people to encourage people. You are correct. We've grown up to be a car-centric country. The ultimate dream, makapagmaneho ng kotse. Then right now, everyone is turning into a greener energy. Everyone is enthusiastic of electric vehicles, hybrids, which it's good for the environment. But have we thought of the impact on the economy and the traffic congestion? People are slowly traversing or going into greener energy of vehicles. Pero dumadagdag ang sasakyan hindi bumabawas. And there's no place to go and there's no means para laparan ng kalsada. We cannot just reclaim lands or we cannot just demolish buildings to give way to more roads. So at the end of the day, public transportation will definitely be one of the priority solutions to come up with a better mobility sa ating mga kalsada.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, as a car owner, if there's a good public transport system, I will definitely give up my car.
Why not? Diba?
Diba? Ang hirap kaya, no? So I would love to, like yung subway, I'm very excited about that. Hopefully, it sounds better. I think, again, no, governments need to also balance, no? Ano ba yung loss? Like for example, how much money do we lose every day because of traffic? The benefits, diba? And then the government will say, okay, maybe investing in public transport will help ease that. So, of course, we leave it to our policymakers to make that decision, but we hope that they're guided by the experience of Filipinos, especially here, no, in Metro Manila. Okay, let's talk to the commuter. So, Marge, what do you think is the role of public transportation?
Sorry, ano agad?
I mean, what do you think should be the role of public transportation in solving the traffic situation?
Dapat mapadali niya talaga yung gaya nga nung nasabi niyo, yung nasasayang na oras sa pagko-commute can be productive ng isang tao. Mag-upskill, ganyan. So, I agree na public service, kailangan alam nila, mahabang pag-iisipan talaga saka planning sa government natin. Pero kailangan i-consider din talaga nila kung ano ba yung mission nila by doing yung mga infrastructure, yung mga public transportation, implementing like yung sa sasakyan, status symbol nga siya dito sa bansa natin So, yung isang iniisip ko na lang, dumating tayo sa point na yung mga mayaman nagte-train.
Exactly.
Diba? So, pag yung ganon, katulad ng mga nasa ibang bansa, diba, meron silang rule sa paggamit ng sasakyan. May taon lang. Yung mga ganong consideration siguro, pwede na mapa-improve yung transportasyon dito sa atin.
Tama yun. Mabalik ako sa example ng Singapore, no? They make it expensive to own a car. Diba? Mahal na yung kotse, kailangan pa magbayad para gumamit ng kalsada. Di ba may proposal nga recently na baka paggamit ng EDSA, kailangan may bayad. Pero syempre medyo controversial yung issue na yun. So, tama yung sabi mo, no? Siguro thinking and perspective na this is for the public and this is something that's important kaya dapat nating gawin, lalo na sa mga mananakay, no? Tulad. Okay, so we'll do a bit of forward thinking now before I go to each specific guest for some specific questions. Pero siguro from the top of your head, siguro if you can create or if you can give us one or two recommendations of how to solve Metro Manila traffic. No? Concrete examples, like what do you think are two or three recommendations you can give to help ease Metro Manila traffic? I'll start with, of course, our representative from AltMobility. I'm sure marami silang mabibigay na suggestions for us.
I think it's a matter of making sure na when you have multimodal transport, maayos yung off and on mo. Like for example, dito ka sa Ateneo, pupunta kang Maynila, tricycle ka siguro or bike from Ateneo to LRT and then LRT ka, baba ka, may bicycle or something na pwede kang sumakay na last mile. Kasi kung alanganin yung patse-patse na yan, babagal, hihirap, you will be disincentivized to commute. Pero kung maayos yung wayfinding, maayos yung lipat-lipat ng multimodal transport, that makes things better for everyone.
Thank you. Ako, I can relate to that kasi back a few years ago, not a few years ago, decades ago, I used to live in Antipolo. Doon ako nakatira. Isang trabaho ko sa Vito Cruz. So, LRT 2, buong hanggang dulo. And then baba, kasi pupunta pa ako ng LRT 1, Doroteo Jose, tapos dulo, tapos magmumulticab pa ako. So, yung polo barong ko nun, basang-basa na ng pawis bago ako makarating sa office. So, 2 oras papunta, 2 oras pabalik. So, 4 hours ng buhay ko nawawala sa traffic. So, I can relate to that na kailangan meron yung madali lang sanang makarating kung saan. Na hindi mo na kailangan umakyat ng napakataas na hagdan at bumaba para lang lumipat ng train. And I think may efforts naman to connect everything. Okay. Marge, ikaw, anong tingin mo? Mga 2 or 3 recommendations that you'll have?
Agree ako dun sa recommendation ni Lou. Pero, ang recommendation ko siguro yung dahil marami namang commuter, mas marami yung commuter definitely kaysa sa mga may sasakyan. So, isang nakikita ko din kasi nakakatulong din yung work from home ng mga kumpanya. Kung magkaroon ng, ano ba yun? Yan yung doon. So, isa yun sa makakatulong na magbawas ng mga tao sa kalsada. From time to time, sa isang linggo. Ganon, isa yun. Saka, yung oras din talaga ng commute. Like, mahirapan, yes, kasi maraming matitigas ulo na, lalo ng mga Pilipino, di ba? Pero yung oras talaga na, kung alam nila na 9 a.m. lang talaga. Iwan sila kung, or malilate talaga sila, or aagahan nila yung pasok. So, yung oras ng mga transportasyon, yung flow, lalo na yung carousel kasi maganda siya, di ba? Ang ganda Ang bilis. Kaso, bago ka naman makasakay sa carousel, mamumundok ka na naman.
Ito ba yung pila nakikita ko sa Mega Mall na ang taas-taas?
Imbis na ang ganda ng flow, ang ganda ng plano, pero para makapunta ka doon, pahirapan ka muna So, yun, yung mga ganun na, yun nga, yung madaling daanan, madaling puntahan, saka yun yung mga masasuggest ko.
Okay. Thank you for those. I think very relevant lalo na for commuters. And then we give the floor to you for 2 or 3 recommendations that you have.
Actually, yung mataas na part yun ng health and wellness. Para makapag-exercise. Just kidding aside. For us, for me, we have to think first, ano ba yung immediate na problema? Bakit nagkakaroon ng traffic? And what we are looking right now, the main cause of traffic, is one, we have too much cars. Now, too much cars, it connects to lack of parking spaces. Lahat ng tao may kotse. I mean, not all, but most of the people have cars. So, kahit saan na lang pinaparada di ba? So, the immediate solution that we have to tackle right now is to remove abruptly the obstructions So, for one, disiplina. Kailangan natin disiplinahin. Sad to say, we have to discipline the people na kung saan bawal. Hindi tayo pwede maging matigas. Just because for the sake of labas yan ng tindahan, labas ng bahay ko yan, paparadahan ko. We have to always think, yes, it's right outside your house, but the question, is the sidewalk your property? No, the sidewalk is meant for pedestrian. So now, second recommendation that I would say na talagang makakatulong, a big percentage of it, we have to develop integrated transportation system such as integrated terminals. Case in point, the most recent na napuntahan ko, Hong Kong. We walk from our hotel going to the subway. Pagdating mo ng subway, sasakay ka 2-3 stations. Paglabas mo, there is the terminal already for the taxi cab. So, why can't we replicate it? Diba? We provide an integrated terminal which everything is interconnected. We can interconnect it. Meron tayong terminal ng taxi, meron tayong terminal ng UV Express, and kung may ruta ang buses, why don't we also have an integrated passage for the buses there? So it's a win-win situation for everyone eh. Ang mga mananakay, they have the option. Gusto mong mag-taxi, dito ka. Gusto mong mag-bus, mag-bus ka. Gusto mong mag-van, we leave the option to you. But at the end of the day, integrated ang lahat ng public transportation system natin. I think that is the top 2 that we have to look into. Disiplina, tanggalin ng obstruction, tanggalin ng harang sa bangketa, not only provide mobility to the vehicles, but sa tao, pedestrian eh. It's about time na we give back the sidewalk to the pedestrian. We encourage people to walk. Now, when people walk, they walk towards mga terminals naman natin.
I really like what you said kasi it's really focusing on the commuter. Sa Hong Kong example nga, inggit ako doon, isang ticket lang lahat pwede mong sakyan. Diba? Dito sa Pilipinas, paano na, diba? Ultimo nga yung, like sa car, yung pagdadaan ka ng S-Lex, saka NLEX, magkaiba, hindi mo alam kung anong card ba, sticker ba, hindi mo alam, may load ka pa ba? Tapos yung mga nagko-commute, diba, paiba-iba yung, so, sana nga, we can refocus it for the commuter so that they, we take care of their welfare.
I think it's the best term is to integrate.
Integrate, yeah. Okay, sige, let's give some time muna we have some comments on Facebook. Let's read some. There's a comment from Louis Cab. He says, you can't really compare it to the more developed and better systems in other cities like Singapore, Tokyo, and Sydney, wherein their train and road network was better planned and done earlier, and of course, they have less population. Thank you for that comment, and it's very valid. Again nga, what we discussed earlier, what's unfortunate for us is that iba-ibang policies, bawat administration, tapos walang long-term, so we have really fallen behind. So thank you for that comment. Then we have another comment from Kenneth Gillis. So good evening, madali kumuha ng sasakyan kung may 10,000 ka na down payment, ma-release na ang sasakyan. Tapos i-push ang no car, no garage policy, which is also, I think, very good. Di ba sana sa Singapore, check nyo po kung paano sila minimize ng I couldn't agree more. And I wanna add, hindi lang 10,000, merong mga no down payment.
Yes.
Parang andali ng parang bibili ka lang ng motor.
May deferred payment na
may deferred payment pa. After 3 months ka lang magbabayad. Tapos ang babari ng monthly, So talagang gusto nilang maging car-centric tayo. Okay, let's go to the next. Yun lang yung comments natin for now. For our studio audience, if you want to comment, just raise your hand. We'll give you the microphone. Okay, so again, thank you for yes.
We have car loans from banks. We have motorcycle loans. Why don't we have bicycle loans?
Wow, actually, I want to discuss that with you. And given that, ikaw ang una kong tatanungin, Lou. Kasi I'm very interested in your advocacy. Like kanina, case in point, the video, nanalo yung nagbabike. So there is really value in biking, I think. Ako kasi takot ako na baka pagdating ko sa office ko, amoy usok na ako. Pero of course, you can take a shower in the office. So, my first question to you, Lou, is, let's talk about cycling. So, what role do you see cycling or other forms? Ano ba yung ibang klaseng alternative mobility para ma-ease yung congestion? What do you think are the alternative modes of transport na pwede natin gamitin?
Okay, I'm just basing this on MMDA data, the AADT of 2023. The average, I forget what it's spelled, pero 48% were cars. So it's common. I would like to think that we can say the majority of traffic, if you could call that, is private cars. Now, what we want to happen is we want to get people to use other modes of transportation. Why? Sa space ng isang kotse, that could easily fit, what, maybe 5 to 10 bikes? So if you get people out of cars into other modes of transport, bicycle or EKS or what have you, that would be better. So simple things like, for example, yung 15-minute, yung pupunta ka lang sa tindahan sa kanto, do you really need your car for that? You can bike, you can walk, pero is your area walkable? Wala bang obstruction sa bike lane? And things like that. So we can start from there. And it falls down to systems, design, and structure.
I agree, no? Like ako, galing lang akong Kalibo kanina. And kagabi naglakad ako sa Kalibo. Very walkable. Ang ganda ng sidewalks nila. And you feel very safe, well lit. And it encouraged, imbes na mag-tricycle pa kami, naglakad kami from the restaurant papuntang hotel. And ang saya, malamig. Ganun. So yeah, I agree with that, no? So, given you're promoting alternative modes of transportation, like biking, let's focus on biking. So, what infrastructure changes siguro ang gusto mong makita? Ano yung mga pagbabago sa infrastructure natin para maging conducive sa biking?
So, if you go to YouTube or Facebook, maraming kaaway ang mga cyclists sa kalye. Kasi yes, may bike lane, we understand that. Pero, do you really look at the bike lane that you want the bikers to use? Kasi may manhole na bukas.
Ay, okay.
And hindi naman pwede dediretso yung biker doon. So, dadaan din siya sa kalye. And a lot of people, not knowing the law, if you read RA 4136, nagagalit sila, bakit yung bisikleta nasa lane?
Okay.
Pwede yan, legal yan, nasa batas yan. And we have things nga, these lead to altercations, nagbabanggaan sila, nagkakasagasaan and so on. And if you think right now, like you're an ordinary person, you want to bike, ano sasabihin ng magulang mo? Huwag kang mag-bike, delikado yan. Di ba?
Exactly.
So how do we encourage people to use alternate modes of transportation kung doon pa lang, delikado na? And we want to try to change that by slowly fixing the culture, which would be a long ways, pero we can start from somewhere. And at the same time, yung infra, let's look at the infra, let's fix it so that we encourage people. Which is why we are calling for protected bike lanes. Kasi, sad to say, maraming motorista dyan, for some strange reason, homicidal. Sasagasaan talaga yung biker for some strange reason. But if you have concrete, they will respect that. Kasi pag binangga mo, sira kotse mo.
Yeah. Ako araw-araw ko nakikita yan habang nag-drive, no? And gusto ko sana yung bike lane mas malapad pa. Pero given the limited size of the roads, I don't know how that's gonna happen. Kasi para mag-encourage talaga yung mga tao mag-bike. Tapos ako naman, I don't see it as an inconvenience. Gusto ko sila mag-bike. It's just, ang sikip lang. Parang dalawang kotse, tas merong bike. Medyo mahirap. So I'm all for changing the infra. Meron ka na-mention na very interesting to me, yung sa culture. So, ano yung tingin mo pwede natin gawin para magbago yung paradigm o yung point of view na kailangan nakakotse ka or yun nga, delikado mag-bike. So, what's a few steps we can take para magbago yung kultura na yan?
One thing we're trying to do sa Katipunan, and this will interest a lot of our viewers, it's something called a bike bus.
Bike bus?
Yes, essentially it's a lot of people on a bike moving from point A to point B. Pero again, yung problem there, although we're working with QC government to make that happen, is, again, yung daanan, maayos ba? And then number 2, protected sana. Kasi, lalo pa dito sa Katipunan, may mga truck na dumadaan. And kung yung sasali sa bike bus are students, syempre, yung una sasabihin ng magulang dyan, uy, safe ba yan? So, again, that's something that we have to work on with local government, with other partners. Pero, if we can get more people to do this in a more standardized fashion, siguro, more mainstream, then we're on the way to something. A lot of people din kasi inisip, yung bike, ano lang yan, pandemic lang yan. Wala na yung pandemic, so pwede na dekotse ulit. No, we have to move forward from that. Kasi if we keep on the same mindset, welcome to traffic. Ito na yung eternity natin.
Yeah. Oh, no, very valid point. And I think, on top of people thinking na, uy, pwede naman mag-alternative, siguro meron ding push from leadership. And one great example is I was just there last week, galang-gala, ano. I was in Iloilo, and then nakita namin na meron talagang bike lanes. No? I think they have 11 kilometers of paved, protected roads specifically for bikers and walkers. So I think saka isa pang maganda sa Iloilo, yung mga poste nila wala na. Underground cables. So that's Iloilo is a very good example. So congratulations to Mayor Treñas and hopefully magtuloy. And then thank you for your answers, no. Now we'll move on to Marge. Gusto kong tanong sa iyo ngayon. Pwede mo ba kaming kwentuhan kung anong pinagdadaanan mo araw-araw sa pag-commute at gaano katagal ka sa kalsada?
Share ko na lang yung papunta ko dito. So, galing ako ng... nag-work kasi ako sa isang non-profit organization. So, mayroon kaming community sa Caloocan. Ayan, sa 10th Ave. Ayan. So, galing ako doon, seminar. So, inisip ko, papunta dito, mag-book ng Grab. Natapos yung seminar, mga 3:45. So, magbubook pa ba ako ng Grab? Yung call time is 5:30. So, magbook pa ako ng Grab or aangkas ako, yun yung option lagi eh. Magmumotor or commute na lang train. So, nag-train na lang ako. So, papunta ko dito, nag-tricycle ako pa LRT, tapos yung katulad ng ginawa mo, yung from Antipolo, yun yung lane na ginawa ko. LRT Line 1, papuntang Doroteose. Tapos, tumawid ako ng Line 2. So, lakad ako pa recto. Yan. Tapos, recto, baba akong Katipunan. Tapos, sa Katipunan, pagbaba ko, nakakatakot kasi, yun, di ba? Mga truck, halo-halo. So, naglakad na lang ako papunta dito. So, araw-araw, may option ako kung yung office ko naman, nasa Makati, ang bahay ko sa Kalayaan, na Tagig na ngayon.
Okay.
So, dati, kung walang traffic, nag-FX ako, office, magte-take lang yon ng 15 minutes, FX. So, ngayon, considering yung traffic, kailangan ko mag-allot ng 1 hour. Kahit na malapit lang yung bahay ko sa office ko, kailangan ko i-consider yung travel time na, aalis ako ng 6:30 a.m. or 7 a.m. Kasi pag beyond 7 a.m., wala na, stuck na ako. So, makakaabot pero late. So, kaya yung everyday na travel time na yun, na dapat yung extra 1 hour mo or 2 hours mo na travel time, nagagamit mo sa ibang productive area or extra tulog, pero hindi siya nangyayari. Pauwi naman, ang pinaka-option ko talaga is maglakad. Nag-agree naman ako kay Sir Lou na sa bike, kaya lang takot ako mag-bike. Maipit ka, dadaan ka ng EDSA, nakakatakot. So, yun, yung option ko is bus from Ayala within BGC. Tapos lalakad ako from Ayala, BGC bus, tapos lalakad ako within BGC, palabas ng Kalayaan. Yun yung route ko. Yun yung smartest for me. Kasi kung mag-MRT ako, Guadalupe naman yung daan, pwede ding mag-tricycle. Yun. Pero given na nagbabudget din ako, so mas okay yun. Tapos mas, yun nga, sabi ni Sir Gab kanina, health-wise, nakakapag walking ka din, di ba? Yun. So, na-achieve ko naman yung 10K steps ko doon. So, yun yung daily ko sa pagpasok sa office or pagpupunta ng community namin dyan sa Manila. Yun yung kasi last year, mahilig ako magmotor.
Okay.
Ayan. So, natuto ko nung na-assign ako sa Cebu. Grabe doon. So, talagang palaban yung mga motor doon. Pipikit ka na lang, talagang offer ka na lang.
Guardian angel na lang. Okay.
So, lagi. Pero last year, na-aksidente ako sa motor.
Okay.
So, may bakas. So, 2 weeks ako hindi nakalakad, ganyan. Pero, dahil doon, na-trauma ka for 2 months. Pero, pagdating nung December, traffic na naman. Wala kang choice kundi conquer yung trauma mo. Magmotor ka ulit. So, yun yung daily na dilemma ko. Magmamotor or maglalakad lang ako. Or, yun, mag-FX, train, yan yung mga lagi kong na-experience sa transportation.
Nagkakwento ka pa lang, napapagod na ako.
Diba?
Pinagpapawisan na ako sa ginagawa mo.
So, minsan naiisip mo din. So, parang pag nandun ka, nakaupo ka sa FX, papasok. 15 minutes, 10 minutes, pag 6:30, kaya yun eh. Pero pag dumating na ng 7:30, 8 a.m., yung nandun ka, na-stuck ka, tapos malilate ka pa, yung stress na nadudulot nun sa commuter, mental health, talagang grabe. So yung iba talagang, ano mo yun, yung ako okay kasi bata pa ako eh. Yan. Pero pag naaawa ko, pag yung kasabay ko, lolo na, or yung ano talaga, yung kumakayod talagang pata sa buhay na, nadudurog ako din pag di niya, ano mo yun, ako kasi may option kang mag-angkas, or mag-grab, mag-extra, ganyan. Pero yun yung daily na, medyo empath kasi ako.
Thank you, no, na dinaan mo kami na, kinuwento mo kung ano pinagdadaanan mo. Actually, nasagot mo na yung pangalawang tanong eh. Kung tatanong ko sana, bumubuti ba yung sitwasyon? Obviously, hindi. Kasi yung 15 minutes mo, kailangan 1 hour na yung preparation. Siguro yung last question ko for you before we move on to MMDA is, what would make you shift? Hindi ka na magbabas or magbabike. Diba, nagmotor ka na, pero kunyari, bike. What would make you shift na magbike?
Siguro gaya kay Sir Lu. Sa bike, kung maraming malawak yung bike lane, ayun, kung safe, kung pagdating ko sa pupuntahan ko, hindi ako nangingitim.
Kailangan
So,
nun.
yun, saka yung malawak na pedestrian din. Kasi nakikipaglaban ka din sa mga sasakyan. Tatawid ka na lang sa tamang pedestrian, natatakot ka pa. Kasi hindi ba? Yung walang, hindi naman sa lahat, pero walang disiplina, or hindi mo rin alam yung nagmamaneho, alam niya ba? Or bumili lang siya ng 0 down payment na sasakyan.
Motor o kotse, basta.
O ano man, di ba? So, yun. So, siguro, yun. Maayos na rules or batas para doon na alam ng mga motorista.
Ang ganda ng sagot mo kasi, yun nga, infrastructure, systems, and yung mention nga ni Gab kanina, konsiderasyon. Diba? Okay. Before we proceed to MMDA, one last comment. Actually, meron pala ibang comment, no? Let's start with, there's a comment, how about mga repossessed daw na cars? Ang daming working pero nakatambak sa bank warehouses. Is this helping or worsening the traffic situation by Brian Viray? I would assume any new car na idagdag mo sa sistema kasi you need to find places for these. But of course, you have to look kung do they really affect traffic. Maybe they can answer that later. And then one more comment from Emmanuel Alfonso. How about opening subdivisions? Yan, yung mga private gated subdivisions. Dati pa, I remember nung si Jojo Binay pa yung MMDA chair during Arab time, inopen na yung idea niya. Pero syempre, ayaw ng mga tiga. Yes, let's not mention the subdivisions. Yun, di ba? And then another comment from Javis Baluyot, naisip ba or magagawa ba ng gobyerno na mabawasan ng private car at dagdagan ang public? Yun nga yung gusto nating i-promote sana, no? Kasi less private cars, the better. Okay. As you mentioned earlier, hot seat. Di naman hot seat. But yung last part ng conversation natin is really for you because we're really interested in how government is addressing. No? So can you give us a few, siguro briefly, ano yung mga efforts ba ng MMDA para masolusyonan yung traffic? Kasi na-mention mo na kanina yung removing obstruction. Ano pa yung iba?
Well, as I said, no, ang MMDA naman ang ating agency, we do not just tackle on traffic management schemes. We don't just do road clearing, sidewalk clearings. We also do management when it comes to improvements when it comes to transportation system. So tulad nga po ng sinasabi ko kanina, one thing that we are already proposing, which we already meron ng mga pag-uusap, is yung mga integrated terminals. I think one of the best example or matatawag nating parang drawing, the transportation system, the integrated terminal, should be like a spider web. a spider web which has a central system or a central terminal that spreads out na umiikot lang. A transportation system kasi, it should be from point A to point B to point C and goes back to point A. The best solution there is, as I said, integrated talaga. We have to integrate everything. We agree there are a lot of alternative transportation system, tulad nga po na pinopromote ni Sir Lou, biking. Well, biking is actually a norm when it comes to sa mga ibang bansa eh. Hindi siya isang, kumbaga, it's not something na uncommon. It's something that is common eh. You go to other countries, you see people biking. You go to Europe, you go to Middle East, you go to other Asian countries, people bike. People bike to work. People bike to go to groceries eh. So, I think that's the mindset na kailangan din nating ibigay sa mga tao na biking is not just for fitness. Biking is not just for para sa mga bata na gusto lang maglaro. It's a transportation system, diba? But then again, we have to look also into our urban planning. We have to revisit our urban planning. Bakit? Yes, we have to have a protected, not only for the bikers, we also have to protect the pedestrians, we have to protect not only the motorists, but also even mga nagmomotor. So, the best right now that we have, no, na nakikita ko on a personal aspect, case in point, ang BGC. Yes, it is a very progressive area, but if we look into the structure of their sidewalk, it is something that we can replicate eh. If only we will revisit our urban plans or our urban developments. Napakalapad na sidewalk, merong enough space for people to walk on, enough space for bikers to bike safely, enough space for people who wants to commute to wait for their ride na dumating, na integrated siya, na meron tayong escalator or whatsoever na pwedeng mag-connect dun sa susunod na terminal ng bus. So, these are something na dapat i-prioritize natin. And bilang when it comes to an agency that's not only focused, kaya tinatawag tayong Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, it's a development eh. So, these are some things or some facts that we are constantly seeking for kasi we cannot do this alone eh. Di ba? Tama yung comment kanina na sinasabi, we cannot compare it to other countries such as Singapore, Korea, or even Europe. Magkaiba eh, ang economic standing natin eh. Here in the Philippines, there's a lot of things that we have to jumble. Kailangan natin i-consider ang economic advancement. Pigilan natin ang pagdami ng sasakyan, magreklamo naman ng mga dealers. Magreklamo, walang sales. O ngayon, zero down payment, deferred payment, katatawag lang sa akin kanina, nag-o-offer ng car loan, which I declined. So, ang daming aspeto eh, di ba? So, we have to go into a middle ground na kung saan it's going to be a win-win situation. But the win-win situation, it should not be just for a certain sector. Eh. It should be for the public. So, a lot of developments, continuous development tulad nga po ng pag-aayos or pag-rehabilitate ng EDSA, our road networks, yung mga iba't ibang mga LRT, MRT stations which we are constantly developing, no, and adding up to the capacity of our public transportation. So those are the things na right now we are focusing also.
Wow, nasagot na lahat ng gusto ko itanong. Which is very good. What I really like about what you said is your mindset in development is people-focused. No? Napaka-refreshing na marinig galing sa pamahalaan na tao muna, hindi kotse, di ba? Hindi isang industriya lang, pero para sa lahat. So thank you for your answers. I'm sure marami kaming aasahan sa MMDA and we wish you success because your success will help all of us.
True.
I-time check ko lang, naka 1 hour na pala tayo ng pag-uusap. Kung meron pa po tayong comment, I don't see any more comments. But I guess we can, check natin kung meron yatang humabol. Okay, meron isang question tayo. No? Ito, very relevant to kasi ako, policymaker din ako before. And nakasasakyan ako before na may driver? Ang tanong, does it add to the current problematic state that our policymakers are non-commuters? Diba? Ano, yes or no? Yun lang. Huwag na tayo magpaliwanag. Gab, ikaw una. Yes or no?
For me, personally, no.
No. Okay. Sige, later if you know. How about you?
Yeah, yes.
It adds. Okay. How about you, Lou? Definitely. To a certain extent, I sort of agree kasi dati nung nakakotse ako, parang hindi ako masyadong grounded sa nangyayari. But siguro let's give Gab a few seconds. Kasi interested ako dun sa answer niyang no. So why do you think not?
Ito lang yun Being a policymaker or someone who formulates policies, hindi naman lahat yan should come from personal experience It's just a mere observation. I for one, but then again hindi natin pwedeng i-compare ang sarili ko sa ibang policymakers because I personally grew up commuting.
Okay.
I've tried tricycle, pedicab, even kalesa
Okay.
So, I've experienced several, pwede natin tawaging alternate transportation, di ba? Nahulog pa nga ako sa kalesa. But kidding aside, it's just a mere observation di ba? I can be someone who has a car, but I just want to know, ano bang problema sa transportation? Ano bang problema sa MRT, sa LRT? I can just go down to the grounds You just have to go down to the grassroots. And going down there, it doesn't have to be ikaw mismo ginagawa mo yun Kaya nga sinasabi ko, same thing when it comes to eradicating mga obstruction, considerate and sensitive. As, let's say we are in possession or we are in the government, we have to be sensitive with the commuters Ano bang problema ng mga commuters? Ano bang problema ng bikers? Anong problema ng mga nagmamaneho? And the more, anong problema ng mga naglalakad? Di ba? So from there, we can already come up with several policies or even recommendations or even programs just for a start. Diba? So, I think that's why ang answer ko is no.
I see your point, no? Kasi minsan, di ba, hindi mo naman kailangan pagdaanan lahat para pero I think, ang maganda yung sinabi mo na you go back to the ground. Kasi may value na bumaba ka. Diba? Kasi minsan ako dati nagtrabaho sa Malacanang, Ivory Tower yon. Kaya kailangan mong bumaba para malaman mo yung lived experience ng mga gusto mong tulungan. And that involves listening to them, talking to them. Like talking to Marge, yung kwento niya kanina, napagod talaga ako dun sa pinagdadaanan niya. So, it pushes people, we should do something about it to help. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for that answer. I mean, I really like your perspective. Okay, so nasabi ko kanina, alright, meron pa talaga mga humahabol. Sige, before we end, what are your ideas how to incentivize non-use of private cars? Lou, what do you think? Yung pwede nating para hindi na gumamit ng private cars?
The Singapore model is good. Kasi yun nga, you can buy a car but you won't be able to use it. So
Exactly. Parang I think bawat kalsada meron kang saka nung nandun ako, parang puro mga mahal na kotse kasi nga feeling ko mayayaman lang yung nagkakakotse, no? How about you, Marge? You have any ideas para
Actually, tama yung sinabi niya, di ba? Same. Hindi naman sa kino-compare. Pero sa kanila kasi, pag may sasakyan ka, mas mahirap magkaroon ng lisensya. Di ba? Kailangan ng mas mahal na, kailangan ng mas malaking amount para maka-acquire ka ng license. Tapos may validity lang yung sasakyan na 10 taon.
I agree with that. No? Dito nga, kumausap ka lang ng fixer, may lisensya ka na mamaya. Sila pa magte-take ng test mo. Di ba? May mga ganyang sitwasyon. Hindi ko sinasabing ako yun, kwento lang ng pinsan ko. so ganun talaga, no? So, how about you, Gab? What are ways we can incentivize non-use of cars?
I have to agree with all the suggestions, but this is something na I think na it's not normal na maririnig nyo. Sinasabi natin, owning a vehicle is a luxury, di ba? For us, for me personally, owning a vehicle is a privilege.
I like that perspective.
It's a privilege. Bakit? Yan ang lagi ko sinasabi, no? I, for one, mula 6 a.m., 5 a.m. ng umaga, nasa kalsada ako I hear people, I hear their complaints, I hear their insights, I hear their suggestions. Hindi lang sa mga may-ari ng sasakyan. I hear bikers, Sir Gab, salamat. Tinanggal mo yung obstruction sa bike lane. Sir Gab, salamat. Nabawasan yung encroaching na isang tindahan, nakakapaglakad na kami. And there is even one comment na nakakatuwa. Lumabas yung isang matanda na, may edad na. Probably she's about 70s or 80s. Pagdabas siya ng pintuan ng bahay, sumigaw. Himala! Akala ko naman, may problema. Anong himala? Isang himala, akala ko hindi ko na maaabutan na klaro yung kalsada namin. So, I hear these sentiments of these people. So, it's a mix between, it's always a mix between economic advancement, purchasing power, status quo, because owning a vehicle, pag ako may sasakyan, may pera ako. I think it's about time na tigilan na natin yan. And always remember, owning a car, it comes with responsibilities. And one of your responsibilities is to, one, lagi ko sinasabi, know the rules and regulations. Follow traffic rules and regulations. Do not obstruct the road, the pedestrian, the bike lane, lahat. Be considerate of everyone. So, I think incentivize not using the car. Yes, we can do that, but I think yung most probable or the best solution is to ibigay sa tao na yung sasakyan ay isang responsibilidad. It's not just a privilege na, a privilege comes with responsibilities, di ba?
Wow, I like that. Change in mindset. Na hindi siya prize na makuha mo dahil may pera ka na, but it's a responsibility. And as you've been mentioning all throughout the show, konsiderasyon sa iba. No? Thank you. Okay. Gusto ko pa sana magtanong pero overtime na. So napakaganda nung naging usapan natin today. No? Pero hanggang dito muna tayo. I'm sure we can have another discussion on this. No? Pero first of all, gusto ko sana magpasalamat sa ating mga guests. Of course, si Lou, si Marge, si Gab. Bawat isa sa inyo, napakalaki ng ambag sa usapan natin today. And I'm sure yung mga nakikinig, mga nanonood, maraming napulot. And I really like that it was a dialogue among us. No? Hindi tayo nagbangayan, hindi tayo nagsigawan because we don't accomplish anything with that. At syempre maraming salamat po sa mga nakinig at mga nanood at sumama sa atin ngayong gabi. Pero sana po samahan niyo po kami sa pagtatanong at paghahanap ng mga sagot sa mga susunod pang episodes ng Nagtatanong Lang. Of course, maraming salamat po sa Radyo Katipunan para sa pagbigay ng pagkakataon na magkaroon ng platform yung mga ganitong usapan, no? Yung mga mahalagang usapin tulad nito. So muli po, maraming salamat. Ako po si JR Santiago, bumabati ng isang magandang gabi. See you po next Thursday. Magandang gabi po.
Bakit laging traffic
may
ka?
freedom of speech?
Marami tayong mga tanong.
Tayo laban sa
Bakit
fake
ganito?
news?
Bakit ganyan? Mga tanong tungkol sa bayan at sa buhay.
Sino nga ba ang gawa?
May solusyon nga ba? Sino ang may
Para
sagot?
kanino ba talaga ang gobyerno?
At sino ang magtatanong? Huwag mag-alala. We got you! Dahil dito, bawal ang dead air. Sa Nagtatanong Lang. Kasama si JR Santiago, isang guro, public speaker at dating public servant na walang takot na magtatanong para sa mga sagot na dapat nating malaman sa tulong ng ating mga eksperto, leader at tayong mga mamamayan. Kasagutang para sa atin at para sa bayan. Nagtatanong Lang, ang bago mong public service program dito sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Tuwing Huwebes ng gabi, makiosyoso, makidiskurso at makialam. Dahil ang tamang